This one's wife. She slams Harry as a fool. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. A report that comes from something called Celebrating the Soaps by Jogan Iglash. As always, I leave it up to you to make a determination as to the veracity of the material. I just provide you with the analysis and interpretation vis-a-vis the world of narcissism. The report tells us this one's wife doesn't hold back in slamming hubby Prince Harry as a fool, a new report reveals. And the Duchess of Sussex clashes with the Duke of Sussex over his plans for a royal reconciliation. However, Harry longs to return to the United Kingdom to reunite with his father, King Charles. But with this one's wife throwing shade and vowing not to return, could their shocking fight result in a split? Prince Harry seems like a fool, says this one's wife via Geo, and the Duchess of Sussex made that assessment after she clashed with hubby Harry over the Burke Bell End game. Penned by this one's wife's journalist buddy, the improbably named plastic-faced Weasley Lickspittley Lieutenant Omid Scobie, the book dropped several bombshells with regard to the royal family. For instance, a Dutch translation named King Charles and Kate Middleton as the infamous royal racist who questioned the colour of this one's wife's son Archie's skin. And now Harry feels terrible about the situation. As a result, the Duke of Sussex has become frantic to reconcile with his father, King Charles. But this one's wife believes that her hubby's plan will cause the royal family to publicly humiliate the Duke of Sussex. Prince Harry believes that the slams against the royal family in Scobie's Burke Bell End game mean that he needs to apologise to his relatives. And, in particular, the Duke of Sussex sees Scobie naming his father, King Charles, as a racist, as requiring offering his regrets. But this one's wife decidedly disagrees, and she reportedly keeps arguing over Harry's belief that he and this one's wife both went too far in insulting his father. As a result, the Duke of Sussex feels convinced that the only solution involves flying to England and knocking on King Charles's palace door, claims an insider. However, this one's wife wants to change Harry's views, and the source revealed, this one's wife thinks he's a fool, and it will only end up being another public humiliation at the hand of the royals. But the Duchess of Sussex also suspects that she will not succeed in halting hubby Prince Harry's desire to dash to the United Kingdom and show up on his father's doorstep. However, this one's wife has made it clear that she does not possess any interest in supporting the Duke of Sussex on his quest to reconcile with his father, King Charles. The Phallus Insider also feels that the Duchess of Sussex actually may deserve the label of fool just as much as Harry, and that's because the source thinks that this one's wife doesn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation. Because the Duchess of Sussex has failed to realise just how many bridges her buddy Omid Scobie's book burned, Harry feels upset, and it's incredibly frustrating for Harry, summed up the source. As a result, the insider hinted at the possibility of the situation causing a split, because the Duke of Sussex has begun to worry that he and this one's wife will never see eye to eye about his family, added the source. Well, this is what has been written. Where does this all fit within the dynamic of her narcissism? Has she branded him a fool? Are these sources correct? Well, it's certainly the case as a mid-range narcissist whose hubby, the intimate partner primary source, is in devaluation, the sustained devaluation, that she would insult him. Name-calling is frequently used by a mid-range narcissist as the purpose of asserting control and drawing fuel. By insulting that person, they will regularly utilize the calling of names. Whilst a mid-range narcissist can utilize physical violence, they're less likely to go to it. Physical violence is more usually seen amongst lesser narcissists, lower mid-range, even upper mid-range, middle mid-range tending to be more passive-aggressive. but it's not completely off the menu, so to speak. More likely, however, is the use of insults. Naturally, all of the fallout that has followed from Bell Endgame and the fact that Charles has been insulted may well mean that Harry is inclined to want to patch things up. The extent to which he would do so depends very much on the clarity that he can obtain from removing himself from the fog of his wife's influence. There will be instances, because whilst he is under her control, he's not completely become an automaton. And in the circumstances, this means there will be instances where he will see that her behaviour is poor, that he will not agree with it. For instance, the look on his face when she undertook the mock curtsy told you everything you needed to know. Whilst he may be something of a simpleton, he's not so stupid as to recognise when she's misbehaving, and he will recognise that in this instance that it has gone too far, and this may well be causing him to turn around and say to her, "We need to patch things up. This has gone too far. This isn't appropriate." Nevertheless, this one's wife won't accept that. It's a threat to her control, and therefore, with him suggesting, "I need to speak to my father, we need to reconcile," she doesn't want that to happen, unless it's on her terms. Her terms, of course, is that the royal family ought to apologise to her, because she believes that she's the one that has been done dirty by them. She believes that she's the one that has suffered. She is the victim, after all, because her narcissism has taken her in that direction. Accordingly, she will want them to apologise, and not for Harry to go cap in hand to his father to say, "Hey, can we sort this out?" That, because Harry's an extension of her, will undermine her sense of control over the royal family. And therefore, if it's correct, and it is a possibility, that Harry might be wanting to patch things up with his family, and of course will miss them, that this clashes with her need for control over them and over Harry, resulting in further friction between the two of them. It's entirely conceivable that she would regard him as a fool. After all, she believes herself to be hugely intelligent, even though she's not. She believes herself to be a mastermind, and that she's the one that calls all of the shots. Accordingly, any attempt by Harry to go against what she wants is deemed to be foolish on his part, and therefore leads to her utilising such an insult in that regard. And, because he's painted black, it remains part of the ongoing sustained devaluation that Harry finds himself experiencing. Accordingly, she'll have called him fool and much worse during his sustained de-evaluation, along with all of the malign manipulations that I've explained previously. Things aren't good for Harry, but whether he's sufficiently motivated to yet wake up remains to be seen. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.